Hi, you're watching the State of Modern Philippines or the Stump. We continue our coverage for round 3 of the tournament, and we have Affinity Master Daryl Alfane against Titan Shift Master Dave Orbon. And let's see who will win.
So we're back in round three, and unfortunately, Jace is not here today. So I'm joined by John from Vault,
Hi
and
guys, good evening.
we have Dara Alfane on your left side and Dave Orbon on your right. If I'm not mistaken, Daryl usually plays Affinity, and the last coverage I told you, Dave plays Titan Shift, and as far as I know, last time they didn't do well in the tournament, and he has a habit of going back to his main deck, which is Titan Shift. So let's see what's gonna happen. John, are you familiar with the two players?
Yes.
All right. So this, if this ends up like what I said, it's Affinity versus Titan Shift. Who do you think would win?
I think Affinity. It's just too fast. But let's see if Titan Shift can get some sweepers and stabilize. And
Mm-hmm.
in the late game, it's Titan Shift for sure
Mm-hmm.
if it goes late. But I would say Affinity wins this one. But
Mm-hmm.
let's see how it turns out.
Yeah, I bet Affinity would win game one because I know it's called the game one deck before. I had plans of building an affinity deck before when I wanted to play modern. So let's see. Unless Dave tweak his deck for mass removal, but I believe his deck is tweaked for that because of the fast meta nowadays with the dredge and the affinity with its counter with the affinity counters type. So
Hmm. You should have a pretty good deck list because you got all the way to the semis. This should be quite interesting.
this is not yet the sense. This is just round three.
Oh, okay.
Round three. I think
Alright.
this tournament we have 6 rounds.
Okay. Where was this tournament?
This was held in Regran.
Okay.
And how about you, John? When was the last time, or what's your favorite modern deck?
I play mono blue turns and elves.
Mono blue turns. Okay. All right. Elves is reasonable for me because
Mm.
mass
I
damage.
normally play rogue decks because I find it interesting. So
Yeah.
win or lose, I just try to have fun.
And you piss your opponent off with that turns deck.
Exactly.
You have all the fun.
Mm. When I
With
win.
elves, it's fun.
When I win, yeah.
Yeah. Even if you don't win,
Mhm.
you still have the fun if you're using turns.
Mhm.
So let's see. Daryl is thinking if he's gonna be keeping his 7 card hand.
Looks like Dave is keeping his hand.
Yep.
Okay. And we're off to the races.
Okay, here we go. So planes.
String drum, Mox Opal,
Ornithopter. So we have Metalcraft now for Mox Hopple. Okay, another Springleaf Drum and Volt Scourge.
Alright, so
That's a very explosive hand.
empty this hand on turn 1.
Yeah.
Problem is he has 1 power on board, no Ravager right now. I, I hope he has cranial plating in his hand. So that
I
this gets
think so. Let's see. So what is that second card? Yeah, it's
plating,
plating.
yeah.
So I guess this is gonna be an early game one.
Pretty good.
Nothing they can do about this attack. It's a flying creature. And Dave takes how many damage?
1. It's a lot.
7 damage. It's a lot.
Okay.
And that
This is not looking good.
Yeah,
which is
that's
not
a
looking good.
Sakura tribe
Because
elder.
that's in the air.
Yeah, that's flying creature, and Dave is tapped out. So that's 7 damage for Daryl.
You just need Galvanic Blast and it's over.
Mm-hmm. Or even if he's another.
Ravager won't work. Galvanic Blast will do it.
Mhm. It's another Volt Scourge. And he's planning to turn that Inkmoth Nexus to an artifact creature. It's an additional counter for cranial plating.
Uh-huh.
So let's just wait for the math and the score there.
Alright.
So that's 9 damage.
So we need a sweeper right now.
Yeah, but yeah, Dave is praying for a sweeper right now. I guess he has a main deck sweeper, or else he would have, conceded the.
He's gonna be fine if he gets a sweeper right
Yep.
now. 'Cause all that's left is the Ingmont Nexus, and he's currently at 0 infect. So
Mhm.
you just need something to fill those one toughness creatures.
Yes.
Pyroclasm, Anger of the Gods, something.
I think yeah, it's
Anything.
or that or Sweltering Suns. I think he uses Sweltering Suns in this deck so that he has the option to cycle the
Cycle
card.
it? Yep. Right. Here
So
we
we're
go.
watching two masters in their go-to decks with their go-to decks.
Here we go.
Daryl is happy. He knows that he has this in the bag for in game one.
Right, and we go to the game two.
Yes. So going back to your deck choices, I'm curious. All right, let's go back to the beginning. When did you started playing Magic?
I started way back in 1995.
95. Oh, the
So I was
same
there 2 years after the beginning.
same year as mine. Although I didn't, I started probably. I didn't see any unlimited packs, but I think as far as I recall, fourth edition was there.
Ice Age.
Ice Age was there
Yes.
already. Yeah. What was your first then?
The first deck was mono green. I had a bunch of Llanowar Elves, Findorn Elves,
Uh-huh.
Crawworm, Scaled Worm,
Yeah. So wrap up with the biggies, right?
Mana Vault. That was still pretty cheap back then.
Yeah.
So it's just really simple. Just ramp, cast really big creatures, and attack.
Okay. Mine was I was planning I was trying to build a land destroyer deck, but it was expensive
Stone Rain Village.
Stone Rain, yeah, pillage and the like. Then we got Rain of Tears when that set came out. But it was expensive because I want to go with this creature.
So black red.
Yeah, the devil one. That if you tap it, it destroys a land. You need to pay 3 mana in the upkeep. It's a biggie. But I don't have the funds back then, so I ended up building a discard deck with the rack, hypnotics.
Magic Finance is very different nowadays.
Yeah.
With cards like back in the day, if you had a Sarah Angel, that was
Yeah.
the bomb.
Yes.
If you had Urnham Jin, that was the bomb.
Yes. You
Yeah.
destroy all lands, then you keep that creature.
And
And Hamgidon, right?
For all of you new players, before Force of Will was not expensive.
Yes.
And then Balduvian Horde was very expensive.
was very expensive. I remember Force of Will was 50 pesos.
Yes.
But what I also recall this store in Green Hills. They had an unlimited Black Lotus there. It was priced 3,500 pesos. This was way back in college.
We should have bought that.
No, I couldn't even build my land destruction deck. But had I known,
It's a solid investment.
yeah,
That's one of the fun things about Magic is the cards you get. If you take good care of them, they have a chance to appreciate.
yes,
So nothing goes to waste. You get to enjoy playing Magic. You make friends, and It's like an investment as well.
Yes, especially if you're a competitive person. You
Yeah.
know, I think most players stick with this because because of the competitiveness, and you can play any style you want. You can be as annoying as you can be, and as serious as you can be. Whatever, floats your boat.
Modern is wide open. You
Yeah.
can literally play anything. What are your thoughts on the KCI banning?
Well, I'm no expert with the tech, but I've read some forums, and I believe that they should have they should have just banned trawler instead.
Yes, I
Uh,
agree. I agree. It would have made the deck still exist, but it would have made it harder
yeah,
for the deck
I guess
to
if they
exist.
ban that creature, there won't be any loop anymore. Then KCI would go back to its X version. There's an X version which is slower than before Second Sunrise. Actually, I have I have a KCI deck. The inspiration was that that X deck. I tried to build it slowly, but suddenly we had Trawler, and everything 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 exploded. So I had to buy the cards, but it's a hard deck to play.
This looks like it's gonna be a good game. Both players are keeping their 7.
Yep. So
We
it's
have
Search for
Search for
Tomorrow
Tomorrow
suspended
game 1. Pretty good
for Dave.
opening.
Yeah.
I have to think that they kept some removal in his
Yeah.
hand, knowing the matchup
I guess so.
and the speed at which he kept his hand. So there should be a way to slow down the affinity player.
Yep.
Should be very interesting.
But if you're Daryl, what kind of cards would you sideboard? I'm not familiar with this matchup. If you're in with if you're using Affinity.
I think you just stay stuck. You, I, I would. I don't really think you need to sideboard anything because you're naturally favored just with the speed at which you operate.
Fair enough. Fair
Look,
enough.
look,
Yep.
look at that. 4 cards down
Yep.
on turn
I
one.
think I see a Blood Moon in Daryl's hand, so he plans to negate the Valakut. So
Yes.
I, I think if he has another land, he can play the Blood Moon on his next turn. Well, let's see. Here we go. Let's see. He's gonna be playing his Blood Moon. That
You
will
can.
negate his Nexus.
You can if you want to.
So he attacks for one
Yep,
first.
he's playing the Blood Moon because he didn't. He held back
Yes.
with the with the Signal Pest.
There we go.
Yes, Blood Moon.
And Dave
Let's
cast
see.
Nature's Claim. I think
This
it.
is quite interesting.
Yeah. But had he not have that, if he didn't have
He would
that,
be in trouble right
yeah,
now.
he'll be in trouble.
It's also a double-edged sword when you sideboard against matchups because Blood Moon is very good at hosting Titan Shift, but at the same time it slows you down a bit. So
Hmm.
it's give and take.
Yes, I think. But I think Daryl would take that chance because uh, only his nexuses will be
Affected,
affected, even if
and you can win without infect damage.
yeah. Okay, Sakura Tribe Elder.
Okay, so we have a blocker.
Uh huh. For Mem Knight,
Mhm.
block then sacrifice, right? For the wrap.
I think we're gonna go for some infect damage now.
Uh huh. But he needs cranial plating.
Hmm. Well, the Signal Pest helps.
Oh yeah,
So if you can find a way to activate, I think those are 2 Ink
eight
Moth
months. So that's at
Nexuses.
least three.
That's 4
Four,
with
yeah.
with the Signal Pest.
Oh yeah, it's four.
Let's see what he has.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, there's a plating.
There's a plating, so I think it's gonna be
Ooh,
A two
okay.
turn clock maybe or three turn
He's
clock.
going for regular damage. Wait, is he? What's that? Yeah. Wait.
There's a poison
Yeah.
damage there. I think it's for two maybe.
For two. Yeah. So he hasn't equipped the plating yet. It's just two.
Uh huh.
Now I think if he has a sweeper, this would be the perfect turn to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So before damage, Ancient Courage took care of the Nexus, and then she said they blocks with the Sakura tribe elder, and then sacrifices it for Elan.
Mm-hmm.
So only the what would you call this creature?
Signal test.
Signal Pest.
And the Memnite are left. Well, there's another Igmod Nexus hiding somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's an Egmont Nexus there, behind Blink Moth Nexus. But
Anger.
Anger of the Gods takes care of the creatures. So Dave is
Okay.
doing great here, and he has Ancient Grudge in
That's
the
an odd
sideboard.
choice. Wait, oh yeah, he had to destroy the Igmod Nexus, otherwise it wouldn't be a creature anymore on his turn.
And
Anger of the Gods.
Dave has an Ancient Grudge, which will take care of that. I think Daryl missed that because Dave, forgot that Dave has an Ancient Grudge in the sideboard, or else he would have thought about, would have second thoughts attacking. That's a Primal Titan.
Okay,
So I
this
guess
is
this is game
it's almost
for
over
Dave.
now.
And I don't think there's a card in Affinity that can, take
Bring
care
it
of
back.
that. Yeah, I mean, they can take care of the Titan.
Hmm.
The burn spell is just for 4 damage, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's it's you kill Dave quickly.
That's 18 life. Yeah, I
Uh,
agree. This should be just be a formality, but it's always a good idea to play the game out. Sometimes some miracles do happen, and sometimes your opponent will make a mistake. So
yeah, and you would also know what cards are in your opponent's deck that might matter in the next game.
if you play it out,
Mhm. But I
all
guess
right,
Daryl realized that there's no point.
then
So
it's
move on
turning out to be
to
quite an
the
exciting matchup.
yeah,
We're going to game three.
just as I expected because again both players are master of their decks. These are their go-to decks. Um, Way back, we were discussing earlier about the black loads. Did you ever got one, or at least
No,
one of the Power Knights?
no.
Oh, okay.
But funny thing is, I got to play in a tournament that had. I got to play in a vintage tournament back in the day,
Hmm.
and I played an unpowered list.
The elves one?
No, no, no. It was a land destruction. It's a counter burn deck with land destruction,
Mhm.
and thankfully the lists of the people who joined weren't optimized. The
Mhm.
internet wasn't such a big thing back then.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
We would get ideas from our decks from Inquest
Inquest,
and
yeah.
magazines. So I basically won a vintage tournament with a standard deck,
Really?
which would be impossible in this day and age.
Yes.
But back then,
Back then,
it was just
yes.
possible because
You will. I guess you took everyone in surprise.
yes, felt pretty good.
Yeah, back in college, I have my notebooks. There's a lot of deck lists
Decklist,
in
yeah,
there.
just brewing. One
Yeah,
night's
you're always
brewing.
brewing because
Second
there's no
time.
internet yet. You read Inquest with reference. You reference Inquest with the magic cards.
Magic has really gone a long way since the early days,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes it's a bit I get a bit sentimental and I miss how things were before. 'Cause back then, when you play the tournament, you build a deck yourself, and
Uh huh.
there were very few templates. you get an idea about top decks, but the information took a while to get there.
Yes, and
Nowadays you have an idea of the meta,
yeah,
and you can adjust accordingly. So the decks are better, but it was much easier to brew
yeah.
back then.
I mean, before you can call the deck your own, right?
Yes.
Um, but recently in modern, I think there's a new deck. Is it Phoenix deck?
Yeah,
It's a new one.
I love that. That's so fast.
Yeah, yeah. I saw it in action last weekend, and it's fast.
Quite scary.
And I think it doesn't have any definite build yet. I think you can still configure it according to your taste.
Yep.
So let's see if both players will be keeping their 7 card hands.
And
Daryl.
there I was thinking, ordinarily I would be worried, but the last time I was thinking about keeping, he won the game, so
Yeah.
no worries. Let's see what happens.
Uh huh. I think Dave is just waiting, to ship for Daryl to, determine if he's gonna keep or not. I think he's not satisfied with his hand. Let's see.
Okay, thinking, and keeping.
I think,
All right,
man,
here we go.
they kept their hands. So it's another explosive turn one for Daryl.
That is a lot of damage. Wait, let me see. Turn 2 is gonna be 1 infect and yeah, 1 power. Let's see what happens.
Uh huh. I guess Dave,
You got a good start.
no, I mean, with the search for tomorrow, that should have 2 counters.
Yeah, yeah. You should notice it. Someone should notice it. You should be a judge.
Well, let's see. Okay, here we go. Glimmer Void, animating the Inkmot Nexus.
That's gonna be 1 damage, 1 regular damage, and 2
Uh-huh.
effect damage. Yes.
Here we go.
And right, not 18.
Yep, 2 poison counters for Dave. And I think Daryl noticed it.
They caught it.
Yep, that should be 2 counters before Dave
1 more time.
drew a card.
Farsi.
Farseek. I'm not really familiar with the new prints.
Mm. It's a lot of printings in Farsi in different expansions. It's a very interesting card. And the way it interacts with the shock lands. Basically anything with the non-basic lands with the basic land types included.
Huh? So Dave ramps up to another land, while Daryl uh, has now another land. If he has a cranial plating here,
Mm.
this will be deadly because when the turn passes to Dave, if Dave has a mass removal, it can wipe uh, Daryl's board. But I guess he has a safety there with Argban Ravager.
Here we go.
Let's see. But I think if the affinity player is sacrificing artifacts to Arcbound Ravager, I think this is the end.
Here we go.
Oh, no. That'll just have a second copy. That's why he sacrificed the Mox Opal. But let's see. So he animates Inkmot Nexus as another artifact, and he attacks with the first Inkmot Nexus. And I guess it's game. You wouldn't be doing this if
Yeah.
the poison counters will be enough to kill Dave. There you
All
go.
right. Affinity wins.
Yep, Affinity wins.
So
And
just as I predicted, the matchup is favored towards Affinity.
uh-huh. So any shout out before we wrap this up, John?
So if you need any cards, please drop by Vault Card Shop. Thank you.